The generic formulations are required to meet the quality parameters like reference formulation or RLD. The generic formulations are required to be safe and effective and should meet the bioequivalence criteria. And the generic formulations are required to be stable and with the robust manufacturing process so that the generic formulations can be cost effective and can be produced consistently. And to meet these requirements, to be in line with the reference formulations, generally the excipients and the manufacturing procedure adopted by the generic applicants is similar to the RLD. The excipients used in the manufacturing of the generic formulations are in line to the RLD or are kept in line to the RLD. Then the question will be there like, can excipients different from the RLD be used in the generic formulations? So yes, we can use other excipients than the RLD. Sometimes you will have different manufacturing process. Sometimes you will have different API than the RLD or different API form than the RLD. Sometimes you will not have RLD in the market. Sometimes there will be the patent constraints. That time you can use the other excipients than the RLD. And this video will give you complete information about this topic. So can excipient different from the RLD be used in the generic formulations? So yes, the excipients can be different than the RLD and these are allowed with proper scientific justifications. Generic formulations can use different excipients as long as the product quality and performance remains equivalent to the RLD. If you meet the requirement of bioequivalence, requirement of stability, and requirement of the consistent manufacturing, you can use other excipients. Sometimes there are patents which claim the excipients and their ranges. That time also you can use other excipients. Then the regulatory expectation. So maintain the pharmaceutical equivalence, demonstrate bioequivalence, that is B, ensure excipients that do not alter the drug release or absorption, provide scientific justification or any excipient change. So that time you need to comply to the regulatory expectations. Then when the different excipients are acceptable, so consider the formulations like tablets and capsules. Some formulations do not require Q1 Q2 sameness. That time you can use the excipients other than the RLD. When RLD excipients are unavailable or non-functional, then to improve the processability, improve the robustness, improve the parameters like flow, compressibility, stability, manufacturability, robustness, you can use other excipients. For example, the patents are there for the reference formulation. You cannot go with the Q1, Q2. That time you can also use the other excipients. Then conditions to follow. So conduct risk assessment, evaluate critical excipients for impact on dissolution, disintegration, stability, impurity profile, show comparable in vitro, in vivo comparison, show comparable in vitro dissolution across the pH, that is multimedia dissolution, demonstrate the bioequivalence, perform the B study, and unless eligible for the biowaiver. Generally for biowaivers, complete biowaivers or BCS based biowaivers, the excipients are required to be same. For BCS based biowaivers, BCS class 1, generally Q1 is required. and for BCS3 based biovers, Q1 and Q2 is required. But if you are performing the B studies on higher strength and asking the biover for lower strength, you can use the other excipients than the RLD. Then cases where changes is easy. For common excipients that are usually flexible to modify, like lactose, MCC, DCP, binders like PVP, HPMC, disintegrants like SHG, CCS, and crosspoidone, lubricants, glidants, you can use, and you can also use in other concentrations if performance matches to the RLD. Then when the excipient should not be changed. So the examples or the conditions for not changing the excipients are like modified release formulations, narrow therapeutic index drugs, products with excipient API interactions, when excipients can affect absorption, like surfactants use can impact onto the absorption. Then key takeaways from these videos are like you can use excipients other than the RLD in the generic product manufacturing and development if the quality is maintained, dissolution is meeting the RLD, stability is assured, bioequivalence is demonstrated, and the manufacturing process is consistent and reproducible. Then regulators allow flexibility but expect strong scientific justification and supporting the data. So now from this video you can get the idea regarding when you can use the excipients other than the RLD, when you cannot use it or should not use it, and you can use or not. So answer is yes, you can use any excipient other than the RLD, but you need to give the quality product, safe product, effective product, bioequivalent product, and you should produce the generic formulation consistently and meeting all the quality requirements. So thank you for watching the video, and if you have any questions or queries, feel free to ask me. Thank you.